Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a new English lesson. My name is Tatiana, and today we're gonna learn something very useful about grammar. So, here, for example, let me show you what is the thing, the grammar thing that I am talking about. Let's get started. Sentence number one, I should bring my jacket. Sentence number two, I should have brought my jacket. These two phrases are good. They are correct. We can say the first and the second when we are speaking in English, but we need to be careful with the context. We need to be careful with the context of these sentences. All right? So today we're gonna learn when we can use the first conjugation and when we can use the second conjugation, should have, and especially the differences. We're gonna learn the differences between should plus a normal verb and should have. Let's proceed with some common mistakes. I wanna show you first, before starting, I wanna show you some common mistakes that we sometimes make when we don't know what's the difference. Yes, what the difference is between these two sentences. So let's continue. The common mistake number one is I should study harder last year. I should study harder last year. That sentence is completely incorrect. Later we will understand why it is wrong. All right? Second common mistake is this. She should tell me the truth yesterday. She should tell me the truth yesterday. I have another common mistake here, and it is they should come to the party, but they didn't. They should come to the party, but they didn't. And I think that this is all. So check that here in these sentences we have should tell, should come, yeah. But what's the problem here? The problem is the context. Check that the context is in past. They didn't. Yesterday, for example, and this says last year. So here we say should. In English, we have this. This is a modal verb, should, and we use it in present and in future. I mean, we use it to give advice about the present and about the future. Yeah, to give advice. When I say advice, I mean to give recommendations or to say that something is a good idea. To say that something is a good idea should or is not a good idea. In this case, in negation. shouldn't, shouldn't. For example, you should study for the next exam. Analyze, pay attention to the conjugation here. We have should, and we have a verb in the simple form, in the infinitive way. So, should study. Something important about this should, this word, is the pronunciation. When we pronounce this word, the letter L is silent. We don't say should, we say should. Should, should. All right? So, should study, in other words, we mean that it is a good idea that you study for the next exam. It is a good idea that you study for the next exam. Let's see another example. Look at the picture that we have there, and it says, it is not a good idea that you wear that t-shirt with those shoes. It is not a good idea that you wear that t-shirt with those shoes. For example, there in the picture, we can see that there is a pair of formal shoes and he is wearing a t-shirt, something sporty. So in other words, we can say you shouldn't wear that t-shirt with those shoes. You shouldn't wear that t-shirt with those shoes. So in these situations, we can use this auxiliary verb, should, to give advice about the present and about the future. Another example. I want to improve my health. Let's say that I want to improve my health. Okay? So, what should I do if I want to improve my health? What things are a good idea that I can do? For example, you should drink water. You shouldn't eat fast food. You should exercise often. You shouldn't go to bed very late. That can be another. So check here, for example, check that here we are giving advice. Should plus the verb in the simple form. Should drink, shouldn't eat, should exercise. Let's continue now with the next part of this English session. The next part is this. Should plus present perfect. Yeah, present perfect. The present perfect is an advanced structure. So if you are, for example, a beginner, let me explain this to you in easier words. Okay, so here, for example, we use this to talk about regrets. Regrets about the past. I mean, to talk about something that happened in the past. We can also say that to talk about something that was a good idea to do in the past, but we never did it. I will repeat this again. We use this to talk about something that was a good idea or wasn't a good idea. Let's say positive. It was a good idea to do in the past, but we didn't do it. Okay, so let's see here some examples. Should, this is what we need to create the sentence when we want to regret about the past. We need should, we need have, because this is the auxiliary for the present perfect, have, and later we need to mention a verb in past participle. When I say in past participle, I mean that in English we have an infinitive, the verb in infinitive, we have a conjugation in simple past for all of the verbs, and we also have a conjugation in past participle for all the verbs. The past participle conjugation is the one that we use when we are using the present perfect conjugation. So, for example, the past conjugation for speak is spoke, and the past participle conjugation for this is spoken. Hold on a sec. My throat is getting dry. So hold on a sec, I drink some water. The past conjugation for end is ended. And the past participle conjugation is the same, ended. Work. Okay. Well, their work is without ed. So later I edit it and I show you that again. Let me do it here very quickly. Let me see if I can modify this mistake. I'm afraid I think I can't, but remember, okay, I could. So hold on a sec, please. So I'm gonna leave it that way. Okay, so there we have the verbs, but remember that I couldn't fix it. I couldn't fix the mistake because the computer gets slower, too slow. So let's continue this way. Ended, ended, work, in that case without the ed, delete the ed because it's the infinitive way, the infinitive form, okay? And in past participle, we add the ed and the pronunciation is worked, worked. Read, in past, the pronunciation check that the spelling of this verb is the same. It's the same, yeah, in all the different conjugations. However, the pronunciation is different. The pronunciation in past and in past participle is red, red, like the color, red. So again, infinitive, read, past, read, participle, read. Take in past is took, in participle is taken. Let's proceed. So remember, we use a when we want to express regrets about something that happened in the past. Yeah? In other words, when we want to say that it was a good idea to do something, but we didn't do it, or it wasn't a good idea to do something and we did it, we use should plus present perfect. And the pronunciation is should have. Should have studied, should have called, okay? Should have studied, should have called. Here we have an example, a situation to understand this a little more. So pay attention to this situation. Yesterday, Mark woke up late. He ran to the bus stop, but the bus was already gone. So, what regret, what sentence can we use, can we say using should have? Mark should have. Think about your own. Think about your sentence, create your own sentence according to this situation in this context. I'm gonna drink more water while you come up with some ideas. Let me show you the one that I have here. It says Mark should have woken up earlier yesterday. Because he woke up late, that's why he couldn't take the bus. Yeah, that's why he couldn't take the bus, or he has to do other things. He probably had to take a taxi or walk or anything else. So Mark should have woken up earlier yesterday. Let's see another example. The second situation I have here for you is this. They had an important meeting, but they didn't leave on time. They arrived late and missed the beginning of the meeting. Again, they had an important meeting, but they didn't leave on time. They arrived late and missed the beginning of the meeting. What example can we create using the conjugation should have to express regret? To say that it was a good idea to do it, but they didn't do it. So here in this case, let me show you the example I have for you. It says, they should have arrived on time. They should have arrived on time. Because they arrived late, that's why they missed the beginning of the meeting. They couldn't hear all the important things that were said at the beginning of the meeting. Okay, so now that we have cleared the difference when we can use a should plus a verb in the simple form, and when we can use should have plus a verb in past participle, let's do the last practice. This practice, here you need to tell me, you need to think about the conjugation. What is the past participle for the verb take? I should have the medicine. I didn't take my medicine and now I feel worse. I didn't take my medicine and now I feel worse. So this is a regret. It was a good idea to take to take the medicine, yes, but I didn't do it. I should have taken the meth, but I didn't. Okay, and another. This is the last one. What's the conjugation for the verb bring in past participle? It says I should have my jacket. It was very cold. I was freezing. And I was freezing. The past participle for bring, it isn't regular. It is an irregular verb. That means that it's different. It's not with ed. Bring in past participle is brought, brought, brought. Simple past, actually simple past and past participle are the same. Bring, brought, brought. I should have brought my jacket. It was very cold and I was freezing. I think it's time. It is time now to do a quiz I have prepared for you. And in this quiz, we are going to select the correct answer. We have multiple choice, A, B, C, D. So you will read the sentence and according to the context, you're going to say what is the correct answer. What is the correct answer? And here we will find examples with should to give advice. And we will also find examples with should have to express regret about the past. So get ready, and let's start. Let's kick off. It's quite easy, you will see. Number one is this. I left. Can you see? Yeah. I left home early this morning without eating breakfast. And at work, I felt very hungry. I left home early this morning without eating breakfast. And at work, I felt very hungry. I was starving. This is another way to say when we are very hungry, starving. Well, now I will show you the options. And let me know in the chat what is the correct option. Or think about it and let me know. The option A is I should eat breakfast. Option B, I should have eaten breakfast. Option C, I should have eaten breakfast. Option D, I should eaten breakfast. You can see all the options. Good. Okay. So here the correct option is the option C. I should have eaten breakfast. Why? It says I left home early this morning without eating breakfast and I felt very hungry at work. So this person is expressing regret. Maybe next time this person is going to have breakfast and is going to avoid this situation. Maybe next time, yeah? So the second is he feels very tired every morning. He only sleeps 4 hours per night. Let me show you the options. Option A, he should sleep more. Option B, he should have slept more. Option C, he should slept more. And D, he should sleep more. Well, analyze the context. What is the idea here? Are we expressing regret or are we giving advice? He feels very tired every morning. He only sleeps 4 hours per night. The right option is the D. He should sleep more. This is an advice. He should sleep more. Why? Because every night we are giving advice about something that happens in the present regularly, very often, every morning. So this is an advice. This is a piece of advice. He should sleep more, right? Okay. We are close to the end. Let me show you this. I had a quiz at school yesterday, but I didn't study. I got a bad grade. Let's read it again and let's practice pronunciation as well. I had a quiz at school yesterday, but I didn't study. I got a bad grade. The options for this are analyze them carefully so that you can choose the best option. Well, so here, option A, I should have studied for the quiz. Option B, I should study for the quiz. C, I should have studied for the quiz. And D, I should studied for the quiz. The option that is correct here is, according to that context, is A. I should have studied for the quiz. For example, the letter C, the option C. I should have studied. That sentence is incorrect. It's wrong. Because remember that when we say should have, we need to mention the next word in past participle, right? And study in the option C, it is in the simple form, in infinitive. So I shouldn't, the letter C is completely wrong. The letter D is also wrong. And the B is good. I should study for the test, but it goes with a different context. Not with this because this is about something that happened in the past. Didn't study yesterday, and the B is possible, but in a context when we are talking about something that happens in the present or in the future. That's the difference. Let's proceed. Here, for example, we have this other. It says, your friend usually has a headache because he spends too much time on his phone at night. Your friend usually has a headache because he spends too much time on his phone at night. The options are this. Well, check that here. We have, check this out. A, he should have slept earlier. Is this possible? He should have sleep, the simple, the infinitive conjugation, we should have. It's incorrect. The letter A is wrong. B, he should have slept earlier. Is good. The conjugation of the sentence is good. C, he should sleep earlier. Is good. He should sleep. The conjugation is good. And D, he should have sleeping is completely wrong. Is completely wrong. Why? Because the verb sleep is in ing. And here we do not conjugate that the verb that way. We should have, we say the verb in past participle. For example, in the letter B, it is correct. Should have slept. Well, now let's analyze the situation and the context. Do we regret about something about that happened in the past here? Or are we giving advice? Your friend usually is a word that we use to talk about something, is a word that we use to talk about the present. Habits in the present, habits in our routine. Usually has a headache because he spends is in the verb. So all of this sentence is present. The right option is C. He should sleep earlier. Is an advice. Is a recommendation. Is a piece of advice, sorry. We can say an advice because advice is an uncountable word, so we need to say is a piece of advice. Or here we are giving some advice. Well, I think that we are understanding this. Let's finish this English session doing the last exercise, okay? Here we are going to correct the mistakes. We have like 3 sentences. We have 3 sentences and we will analyze them carefully read them carefully, and later say what is the solution, what is the mistake, and what's the solution. For example, I should study harder last year. Should study, good, but last year is not possible, right? So here, the correct conjugation for this context is should have. I should have studied harder last year. This is a regret about the past. It was a good idea, yes, that I studied harder last year, but I didn't. Second example, she should tell me the truth yesterday. She should tell me the truth yesterday. She should tell me is good. Should tell me, that's great. However, we have there yesterday. Is not possible. Should tell is to talk about present and future, not about the past. So here we say, she should have told me. She should have told me the truth yesterday. And told, the past for tell, told, told. And the last one is they should come to the party, but they didn't. Should come, they should come. It's good. They should come. But the next part doesn't go well. The next part doesn't go well with that conjugation because it is in past. Didn't, they didn't. Did is the auxiliary of the past to negate. So they should have come to the party, but they didn't. They should have come to the party. Should have, should have. Well, and here to finish, we have like a conclusion, summary, a summary for this. Should it, we use it to give advice about something that happens in the present and future. In other words, it is a good idea to do that you do that. And should have eaten. In this case, I wrote eaten, eat, eaten, but we can use any verb. Yeah, depends on the sentence, on the message we want to give. So should have is to talk about the past, to regret about the past. I should have eaten all the cake because it was delicious, but I ate just an slice, so I regret about that. I should have eaten all the cake, and I didn't. I ate just a slice of the cake. Okay, so this is. And I do not have anything else. This is all that I had prepared for you to, to help you understand these topics so that we do not make any mistakes about this. We do not make the same mistakes I showed you anymore. All right. So thank you. Thank you very much for being here, for joining to this English session. I really appreciate it. Bye. Take care.